Good morning and welcome to our weekly briefing. As usual, we'll start off with an update to the numbers. First, since last week, 890 more Philadelphians have been diagnosed with COVID. As of yesterday, we're seeing an average of 170 new cases per day. Following the trend from the last week, our case numbers continue to drop. This is still a really long way since the summer when we were seeing about 25 cases per day, but much better than 2 weeks ago when we were at about 270 new cases per day. We're still seeing more than 7,000 tests per day, and our percent positive rate is about 2%. 5,000 Philadelphians got their first dose of COVID vaccine since last week, and more than 3,000 became fully vaccinated. And the number of people getting booster doses continues to rise. Last week, I reported that we gave out a record 10,000 booster shots, but this week we've given out 13,000 boosters. That means that in total, more than 55,000 Philadelphians have received their booster. Overall, 87.6% of adults and 81.2% of those 12 and over have had at least one shot. 71.5% of adults and 66.3% of those 12 and over are now fully vaccinated. So the big news this week is that the CDC recommended last night that children between 5 and 11 are now eligible to be vaccinated. This recommendation is for a special formulation of the Pfizer vaccine. The children won't be getting the same dose as teens and adults. They'll be getting a smaller dose using special smaller needles. This recommendation was made after the company ran clinical trials with thousands of children. What they found was that the vaccine was safe and effective. Side effects were considered mild and generally resolved within a day or two. The vaccine was found to protect children from being diagnosed with COVID. The FDA and their independent experts reviewed the data from these trials and gave emergency use authorization. And then yesterday, the CDC and their independent experts reviewed the data again and the FDA's authorization, and they recommended that every child between 5 and 11 be vaccinated against COVID. So we've ordered more than 20,000 doses of the pediatric vaccine in our first order, and we expect to order plenty more as we're able. It's coming in slowly though, and in many cases being shipped directly to vaccine providers. We've told our providers that as soon as they get enough vaccine, they should begin vaccinating children. We've heard that some counties are waiting until they have vaccine in all of their clinics, but we don't want to wait. So we're instructing our partner clinics that they can begin vaccinating as soon as they have the ability to, now that it's been approved. So here are the places that it will be available. Children can be vaccinated against COVID at any city-run community clinic, most pharmacies, health centers, and at many pediatricians' offices. Some pediatricians have said they'll call patients to come in when a dose is ready for them. We're working to make sure that phila.gov/vaccine and vaccines.gov are up to date with the latest information. We know that for the first few days, it may be frustrating to find pediatric vaccine. I wish that wasn't just the way it is right now, but we can't control where the vaccine ships or how quickly it ships. And we do want to start vaccinating kids as soon as possible. So this is a big step back toward normal, and I'm very excited to see it happen. We're working hard to make sure it's available in as many places as possible, as soon as possible. We will be updating our website at phila.gov/vaccine with locations and times that kids can be vaccinated. One thing that I'm excited about is that getting children vaccinated will help make the winter holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah as safe as possible for everyone. But Thanksgiving will be here before the kids are fully vaccinated, so we have to continue our due diligence. This means common sense safety measures, like masking and limiting indoor parties. But I think we all remember how difficult it was to get tested before Thanksgiving last year. We anticipate that many people may want to get a test before they go to Thanksgiving dinner, especially if they'll be seeing someone elderly or immunosuppressed, and particularly if there are unvaccinated family members. So everyone needs to think ahead about how this is going to work. If you try to go to a testing site the day before Thanksgiving, it's likely that you'll have to wait a long time and you might not be able to get a test. One way to plan ahead would be to use at-home COVID testing. Buying rapid at-home tests now to use for Thanksgiving will ensure that you can be tested before sitting down with your vulnerable grandparents. It's important to remember, though, that a negative test is only for that particular moment in time. The longer between the test and the gathering, the more likely that you could actually be contagious, especially if you're not vaccinated. So to wrap up, if you'd like more information about the pandemic and the city's response, you can visit our website at phila.gov/COVID. If you have questions, please call our COVID call center at 215-685-5488.